Hello and welcome to Never Miss a Monday. I am your host, Stacey Garcia, and I have someone incredibly special and dear to my heart today, and such a huge aspect to my healing journey, Nicola Salter. Nicola has been happily supporting women with their journeys of emotional wellness, wholeness, and new directions with coaching for over 25 years. She helps women redefine themselves when they feel stuck using holistic tools and methods to help them break free of old negative patterns and create a new level of success in line with their values. Welcome to the show, Nicola. So happy to see you and have you here.
Thank you so much, Stacey. I'm so proud to be here. So proud of you. It's really, really good to be here. Thanks for the invite.
It's my absolute pleasure. I would love to tell the listeners kind of how we originally met, and our backstory, because this was such a gift from the universe for me and for my sister. So when I was diagnosed with breast cancer, May of 2024, my sister had been raving about you. She had been going through a challenging time. She had been seeing you for Reiki, and she gifted me with 2 sessions. And when I started seeing you, I was about 2 weeks post-op from my mastectomy. So we're almost at a year, which is so wild to me because I have my cancerversary is actually tomorrow. So when the listeners hear it, it'll just have passed. But June 6th is my anniversary of my double mastectomy. It's kind of a joyous day for me because it was when I was deemed cancer-free, when they removed the tumors and everything. And I started seeing you 2 weeks after. And so tell me like your side. What did it feel like when you met me and my sister?
You know, with your sister, I worked with her challenges, and she'd shared briefly about what was going on for you. And then one day she came in, she was very upset. Of course, you'd all found the news out that, what was going on for you with cancer. And she said, can I send Stacey to see you? And I said, yes, sure. And I remember when you came in to see me, I was absolutely blown away with how courageous you were, how your mindset was in such a very present, centered place. And it wasn't overly optimistic, but you were in a very accepting place, a very calm, healing space. And that is something that really struck and stood with me. I was like, wow, this woman is really owning it and really working through it, baby steps at a time, and focused on her healing. So that was the impression that you gave. It was
I
amazing.
love that. I love
Mm.
that. And with my experience with you, because I walked in not knowing at all what Reiki was at the time. I really didn't know. I just went in trusting the process
Yeah.
because I've always been spiritual. I've just always been spiritual. I've always been drawn to Kabbalah and different spiritual healings and daily meditation. So I really didn't know what to expect. My friend Ricky drove me there because I couldn't even drive yet. I wasn't able to use my arms yet, and I was still in so much pain. And I sat down and we had, I don't know, maybe a half an hour conversation. And I got so much out of that half an hour, even before the Reiki. I was like, wow, I don't know who I just met, but this woman is going to change my life for the better. And I just felt that. And then I laid down and you performed Reiki. And I remember kind of walking out of there. And I remember my friend Ricky was like, did you not bawl your eyes out? Did you not cry? And I know everyone has different reactions, but I had never felt such incredible peace and calmness and centeredness. And the only way I can describe it is I felt as close to my most authentic self as I've had for so long. I felt whole. And I know a lot of people feel that way, and I know that that is really your purpose in life. So I'd love to know more about how you became a Reiki master practitioner to help heal others.
Well, I love hearing that feedback. Thank you. It makes my heart smile. I got into Reiki about 32 years ago. Um, Actually, no, it was 30 years ago. I was in the corporate world. I'd always had gift of intuition and feeling and empathy and a sense of knowing and about people. And so when I was in the corporate world, I was working at the BBC at the time, and I decided to take myself off to holistic college to learn
Mm.
holistic tools. And back in those days, they weren't official degrees because they weren't approved, I guess you could say, by any governing body. And while I was there, uh, this holistic college that I was at was run by a gentleman who was the Queen's naturopath
Mm.
and also became then Princess Diana's naturopath. I didn't know any of this at the time. And he'd set up this holistic school where I learned clinical aromatherapy. I learned more about mindset, energy, and frequency. And he came to know me in terms of the skill set I had and recommended I learn Reiki to enhance these skills of intuition and put them in a grounded container, a vessel, if you like. So he ushered me off to a Reiki program in London, and she was an Australian teacher. She was one of the few that had been actually um, attuned by Mrs. Takata, who was one of the grandmasters of Reiki. And she taught me my first level. And back then, this is all very new. And I spent about 2 years practicing before I did Reiki 2. And then by the time I got to Los Angeles, I decided I was going to do Reiki 3 and learn my mastership. So I went back to England to do that.
Wow.
And and here I am today. So I had never intended to do any of this work. It's absolutely phenomenal in terms of the frequency that you experience, the vibration that you experience as the electrical flow that flows through my hands to you. And really it's been part of my life. And I really thought when I learned it that I would never go as far with it as I have. But I've been very blessed to teach others how to use it, like yourself, and encourage everyone else to step into using Reiki for their own health and well-being, as well as coming to see me for sessions.
I love it. I could hear that story over and over again and it never gets old to me. It's
Thank
just
you. I was going to
it's
say,
the best story. I just love it so much. I wanted everyone to hear that.
thank you.
So when you did move to the US from England, you had to start from scratch. You not only built a new life, but a now absolutely thriving business that is helping so many women find their purpose.
Mhm.
You've worked on developing a positive mindset, identifying inner blocks and limiting beliefs, and finding your purpose. What tools did you use to get to where you are now?
So on my journey, I've been learning with other coaches. I've learned tools for myself, for my own healing, to help me get through blocks that have been preventing me from experiencing success and accomplishment. And so all of those tools, the walk I've walked, the talk I've taught, I've now brought together to help other women. So I designed a teaching, if you like, an offering where women can come and see me and we spend time together, where I actually use these holistic tools with them to help them break free of patterns that we identify that are getting in the way, and then help them start focusing on the impact that they make and the value that they bring to the world and how they can monetize that if they want, or in fact, create a new direction for themselves. But ultimately, really align them with their values. So there's lots of different holistic tools that are science based. They're not woo woo, they're science
Mhm.
based. And they help to rewire the brain and the neural patterns in the brain that help you to then create a new mindset.
Absolutely. Let's talk more about those holistic tools because they are science based. And I think that there's a lot of misconceptions out there with Reiki and other holistic practices. So, which practices do you currently use that are science based?
So they're all science based, even Reiki. Reiki is a form of biofield communication, which is an exchange of electrical flow between two people. And it's proven that each of our cells in our body create a little electrical lights, a force of electricity, if you like, in a cellular level. And when you have Reiki, what happens is that it brings an additional flow of electrical current into your body for improved health and wellness, but also emotional calm. The other tools are the emotional freedom technique, which is a tapping technique, which helps to you tapping different acupressure points on the head and the arms and the hands. And what happens here is that you're helping to retrain the amygdala in the center of the
Mm.
brain, which is where your emotions are stored. And as you tap and make statements at the same time, you're rewiring the neural patterns in the brain. And you need to tap and speak at the same time to create that difference. So you can use it for post traumatic stress. You can use it to overcome fear and anxiety and overwhelm, for example. And it really makes a difference. When I use it for myself, I've used it in the past and now for emotional issues I've been going through. And you really get to know about yourself. You become your own therapist when you do
Mm.
this technique. You really get to be able to connect with those emotions and put labels on them and really understand in a better way your emotional wellness. So there's breath work I do too with heart math science proven, where you do deep breathing, but you activate a feeling of gratitude at the same time. And gratitude is very well known in science for um, helping to prolong longevity, improve your life. And it helps again to calm the brain and distract the brain away from anxiety and stress. There's others, those are just a few.
And those are ones that I've used from you. And Joe,
Yeah,
too. Joe saw you for a few sessions as well. And I
I did.
remember going out in the backyard and seeing him in the jacuzzi tapping.
Yeah.
And he would tap all the time, and he started using the heart math. Like he was just all in it. So I've seen so much benefit from it, not only from me, but from others.
Mm.
And then you taught me the three diamonds that I do every single morning.
I'm
That's
very happy to
something.
hear it.
Oh, it's the best. I think it was the last day of 2024 is when I got my mastership with you.
Mhm.
And then when I woke up on January 1st, I made a promise to myself that I would start every day off with the three diamonds, and I have not missed a day.
I'm so proud of you. It's just to explain to everyone, the three diamonds is a form of it's like qigong, and you're moving energy through your body to ground yourself, to help bring an accelerated energy into your system, which helps build intuition. It also helps to release negative energy, negative thoughts, and any energy you may have picked up from other people. You know, those energy vampires out there that tend to offload their energies onto us if we accept it. That's great. Well done.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I love it.
that's a
It's been a
commitment.
game changer. I
Mm.
think I really believe that consistency is self-love and self-care. And that's something that I see that my day, if I were to not start that day off with the three diamonds and I do it an hour later, it's a shift in energy for me. So I know that this absolutely works, and this is something that I've promised myself to, and I absolutely love it. Can you explain Reiki more in very generalized terms for everyone to understand?
Yeah, so as I said, it's a form of electrical flow between two people. So what happens is I'm trained and you're trained now to access a high level of, they're like radio waves coming through the body that you can then pass on to somebody else. We're made up of light and sound, and Reiki is a form of frequency, of vibrational medicine, that when you put your hands on key points on the body, that person will feel an electrical flow through your hands like warmth or a warm breeze. And that person receives the energy in whatever way that they need. We have some control over it, but not entirely. And there is a sense of it working on your physical body. It helps to accelerate healing in some cases. It helps to reduce pain. It boosts the immune system, improves digestion on the physical level. On the emotional level, it helps people to reflect better on emotions and behaviors that really are perhaps negative and toxic that they'd like to move away from. And then on a spiritual level, things happen which are still being discovered right now. Things happen to us on a spiritual level where we feel a change in us, a shift, where we go to, as you said earlier, your true self. It's a place of
Mhm.
wholeness. And all of this has been measured by, there's a gentleman at the University of Arizona who's been measuring through use of a squid machine the electrical output of people who've been trained to offer Reiki, to measure the biofrequencies that we give out, which are a lot higher than the normal average person has. Not that we're better, but because we've had a certain set of training modalities to do that.
That's yes, that's exactly the perfect answer for that, Nicola. That
Okay.
and it really is amazing. And you really address the mind, body, and soul connection in that statement, which is what my podcast and my beliefs are all about, is really the intersection of those three. And I think that maybe that's why I was drawn to Reiki right
Yeah.
away, was because it fed exactly what I see the universe as. And I think that's amazing. Um, do you feel that Reiki is embraced by Western medicine practitioners?
It is now, yes. There's a lot more acceptance in the medical field. So, when I was working at St. John's Hospital, I was invited to train the nurses in Reiki and a couple of surgeons. And now, throughout the US, there's been research done on nurses actually doing distant healing during
Mhm.
surgeries. And then, when the patients come out of surgery, they spend lesser time now recovering and can go home sooner when they've received Reiki.
Yes. I mean, I can attest to that. I didn't have a nurse in my operating room, but I want to say when I went in for my second surgery, I think I had completed the second level of Reiki, and I was able to heal myself, and my recovery from my second surgery was so quick,
Mm.
like unbelievably quick. And I remember you checked in with me, and I was like, I'm doing amazing. Like I
I remember.
feel so good. I started walking and moving so much quicker. I was off of pain medication so much faster. And that was huge for me because with my first surgery, I was on narcotics for a full week, and I was a
It's
week too
awful.
long for me, and it was
Yeah.
awful. It just messed everything up. And to be able to find that level of healing and pain reduction and inflammation reduction and the healing process speeding up so much faster was one of those things where like, wow, this really, really works. I mean, you have to really feel it to understand how
Yeah.
incredibly impactful and powerful it can be. Absolutely. Let's talk a little. And you shared with me in the past when you worked with breast cancer patients and you were performing Reiki. And what did you feel after talking to so many women? What were your feelings of, I hate to say what may cause breast cancer because we'll never, really know, but
Yeah.
what did you see similarities with all these women?
Well, I felt from my experience, and this isn't anything that's been documented, but
Yes.
from my experience, there was a tendency for women to be over investing in others and not giving enough time for their own self-care. And what seemed pretty apparent is that they'd lost sight of themselves.
Hmm.
They weren't in their wholeness. They identified themselves too much through the roles that they played and helping others and not giving themselves enough time. And the breast area, in Reiki, we study the symbolism and like Chinese medicine of different organs in the body and what they represent in terms of the emotions. And the breast area is also associated with nurturing and
Hmm.
nourishing. And sometimes when we're over nurturing and over
Hmm.
nourishing,
Hmm.
it can create uh, dis-ease, literally,
Hmm.
not disease, but a dis-ease in the energy field in that area.
Absolutely. And when you shared that with me too, I resonated with that. And that's something that you saw in me very early on, is that I
Mm.
was an over giver. I think I always put other people before myself.
Yeah.
Naturally, that's just, and so to actually rewire and retrain my brain to really put myself first and really learning that, you can't fill other people's cups before you really fill your own, and that was really challenging for me. But at the same time, I really embraced it because I saw that was a huge missing link for my wholeness.
Yeah, if I might say, I thought you were very brave to receive that information because people don't want to hear that. So there is a way in which we learn to deliver that kind of information, and a person can take it or leave it if it's true for them, if they resonate. So when I put that out to you as an idea, as a possibility, you seem to grasp that and it resonated with you, and thankfully you were able to accept it, not resist it, and move with it. So it's not judgment that we do this. It's part of our nature, in our DNA as women, but we are caring and compassionate. We have children, that's what we do.
Right.
We have to have that. Sometimes it can get out of balance.
Absolutely. I think I was very much out of balance. When I was diagnosed, my surgeon said, don't change anything, just continue doing what you're doing. And he's like, you don't know how lucky you are. You have everything in place. You eat well, you exercise. And I appreciated that, but I didn't accept that. I said, there's a missing piece here. There's something that I need to uncover within myself.
Mhm.
And that really was it. I realized, yes, I do meditate 10 minutes a day, but what am I doing with the rest of my day? Went through an incredibly stressful year and I let the chronic stress get to me. And I did not have the tools that I have now from you. And even now, they're not always coming natural. I have to remind myself to go about it. I mean, I'm seeing you next week. I need a refresh, Nicola. I need I
I know, I'm
need
looking
that.
forward to seeing you. Yeah, you're
So,
you're you're right. It's really it's for the listeners, it's to really keep your reactions in check in terms of where do you put your attention each time
mhm.
there's a stressful situation going on. And we're always going to have stress, but it's how do you want to manage it? And if you want to take it on to the extent that it can create illness and disease, um, okay, but I'd rather you didn't. And there are
Mhm.
different ways of really just self-regulating and managing the stressful situations, which we're not taught. We should be taught at school, to be honest, how
Absolutely.
to deal with these lifestyle situations. And you were right with the doctor. Of course, he meant well, and you had all the basic traditional places in place, thank goodness. And that's part of your also rapid recovery because you were very healthy. And they do miss that piece in terms of emotional wellness. And what are your patterns of behavior? How
Hmm.
do you respond? Because when you have a reaction to stress and you have a cortisol reaction, it can stay in your body for 12 hours, that hormone. And it's
Wow.
creating absolute havoc. It's creating inflammation. And then, of course, you put smoking and drinking on top of that,
Hmm.
and it's adding fuel to the fire. And you're using those tools to numb out, which isn't
Right.
helping at all.
Right. No, absolutely. So, what advice would you give to someone who has not had the background, has never really, dived into stress reduction techniques? What would be something very basic that someone can do at home now?
Well, as soon as you feel anxiety or stress coming on, if you can, take some deep breaths, very deep breaths. And then as you take the deep breaths, your heart starts to calm down. The heart rate visibly starts to regulate. And then try and find, if you can, a place of gratitude with the breath work. And it might be difficult if you're stressed, but feel something like, oh, look at the garden, it's so beautiful. Oh, look at the color curtains, aren't they pretty? Really distract your
Hmm.
brain as you breathe deep, because what you're doing is then, as your heart slows down and regulates, your heart sends a message to the brain. The brain then says, oh, we're good now. It's going to send out DHEA, calming and nourishing hormone, and it helps you to calm down. Another way is, if you have a tendency to get stressed and overwhelmed, is taking 10 minutes out of your day to practice lying down with your legs
Hmm.
over 3 or 4 pillows so your legs are higher than your heart. It's called the restoration pose. And then do the deep breathing in that way with some calming music on. I use the solfeggio frequencies now, which help to really resonate with the brainwave patterns, and they are created at different megahertz. So the brain reacts to different megahertz of noise. And so I use that when I'm doing the restoration pose. So those are two things you can do that really aren't that big. I mean, that's
Hmm.
not a stretch. It's taking and making the effort to do it rather than popping a pill.
Absolutely. Those are
Yeah.
those are great. And I've used them all and they're tried and true. I
Thank
remember
you.
during my recovery, I think you would text me every once in a while, like, are you doing your restoration pose? And I would forget because
Yeah.
we live in this country, it's the hustle culture.
Yeah.
It's almost admirable to go, 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 go. And you look at other countries and in Europe and all around the world with longevity and they are not on the go all the time. They have siestas. There's countries where you go and you can't find anything in the middle of the day. Everything's closed because everyone is going home to rest and
Mhm.
recover and recharge for the rest of the day. And I was actually just talking to my cousin about this morning and how stressed out we can get with this hustle culture in corporate America. And so I'll share a story with you, which
Mhm.
is pretty funny. This is pretty recent. So after my second surgery, I went in for physical therapy for my upper body to regain movement and everything. And I was also going to a physical therapist because I was having a lot of pain in my hips and hamstring. And I thought that I had somehow had like a slight tear in my hamstring because it was not getting any better, no matter how much I stretched and iced and all of this stuff. And I went to this physical therapist, and almost immediately she realized that it was pelvic floor and completely stress based.
Mhm.
And she had me immediately start breathing throughout the day. So I started doing it where as soon as I got into the car, because I spend a lot of time in the car, my children go to school
Yeah.
far and I'm in the car a lot. That's when I would start taking intentional breaths and start thinking gratitude and all of these positive thoughts. And within weeks, my symptoms were gone.
That's amazing.
Isn't that
That is
amazing?
absolutely amazing. That's the first time I've heard that stress can affect you in that way. In
It
all my
was
years of doing this.
I really couldn't believe it. I mean, I've been in the health and wellness world for so long
Yeah.
and I know muscles and I was like, "Oh, I for sure tore something. This is not getting better. We're talking about these symptoms have been here for so long and
Hmm.
debilitating." Like
Yeah, it's
I was
awful.
having a hard time walking and jogging. Like it was
Hmm.
that bad and I love to walk. I love to hike. It's one of my favorite things to
I
do.
know. I
And
know.
for her to give that back to me by realizing this is absolutely stress. Women hold stress in their pelvic floor. That is where we hold it, and that can completely affect our hips.
Well, I'm absolutely stunned at this point. I'm, as you can see, speechless, which is the first. I,
It's
also just thinking about this out loud as you're talking, the pelvic floor is your root chakra, which
yes.
affects your legs and lower body. It's the
Hmm.
energetic center where you feel safe, you feel grounded. When it's out of balance, we can get over precious about our survival. And interestingly, it feels like the stress energy had affected your root chakra too,
It
in
did.
terms of your foundation being
Hmm.
affected for whatever was happening to you. A foundational shift was taking place and it was affecting the root chakra as well. Amazing. I'm glad breath work
Breath
brought back
work,
balance.
it's everything. And I think I
Yeah,
just needed it more. Like I
yeah.
think that it's so amazing to take time out of your day for it, but I think I really I naturally hold on to stress and it's terrible and it's something I have to be so mindful of. I look at people that naturally don't and I just look at them like how do you do that? How do you just let things, roll off your
Well,
back? It's just
you
it's a dream.
it's a dream, but I think also it's a lesson for all of us because
Yes.
when you're empathetic, which
Yes.
most of us are,
Yeah.
we do tend to absorb about 3% of everybody else's energy. And
Yes.
it's the empathy that ties us in. And it's that natural kind of reaching forward to someone when they're in pain, or if someone is in stress, you're living the stress for them, which is not really how empathy works. So I think it's a great opportunity to look at where am I being empathetic? Why is this stress affecting me to this point? Because you're taking it, not you personally, but one is taking it very
Hmm.
personally. And I think we all take stress very personally.
I absolutely agree with that. I think we do. And I am an empath. I've known that about myself for a long time. And I also know that I do take on other people's energy a lot.
Yeah.
And I feel things. It's kind of a joke in my house. I can cry at a drop of a hat with the commercial or anything. I just feel everything.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so it's a constant reminder to myself to, let things go. I don't know if I shared with you, but I read the Let Them Theory by Mel Robbins at the start
Mhm.
of the year. And
Yeah, I
it,
remember you
it's
telling me.
I
Yeah.
need to continuously go back
Go
to
back.
that
Yes.
because it's brilliant and it's not anything new. It's the way she words it.
Hmm.
And it's just, I have such a hard time with that of just letting people have whatever reaction they're going to have and let me decide how I want to react to it, and
Mhm.
really preserving my energy because it is so precious as well.
It is. And I hate to say this, I don't like saying this because you've had such a difficult journey and you've done so well coming through it. Let that be the example of reminding you of not to let this happen again. And if that
Yes.
means shifting your mindset away from when someone's having a meltdown around you
Yes.
or in a blaming or judging place, let them be in that place because you know who you are. You know your
Absolutely.
wholeness. You've experienced it now, and it's something very precious that you or none of us want to
Right.
lose that. Yeah.
Absolutely. I wholeheartedly agree with that. And it has been a huge reminder for me.
Mm.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree with that more, Nicola.
Oh,
And I appreciate you so much for introducing that side of me that I feel like was buried for so long. I think I was the yes girl for so long and just saying yes to everything and really not protecting my peace and my energy in a way that I now do have healthy boundaries. And I think that comes from self love.
it's self-love. And I say this to women, and I've seen you do this. There are seasons of blooming and there's seasons of stillness.
Hmm.
And once we get to recognize those cycles and be in peace with those, we get to see that there's like a wisdom of the universe. If we just open up to listen to it and
Yeah.
connect with it and get out of our busyness and
Hmm.
saying yes to everything, that in those seasons of stillness, being reflective when not much is going on around you and you're thinking, I should be doing something. Why are
Hmm.
things not happening? You're having that moment or days for a reason. And then the seasons of blooming will still come. But it's like you were talking about the siestas, you still need to
Hmm.
take time out. And I think as you're seeing for yourself, you've learned so much in the last year. And congratulations on your anniversary. That's amazing to hear.
Thank
I'm
you.
very happy for you that you're now seeing the cycles of life too. And I think women forget that we have stillness times, we have blooming times, and that we don't have to be in that busy place all the time wearing all the different hats that we feel that we have
Yes.
to wear.
Yes. So I still struggle with that. Something I have to remind myself is to not wear all the hats and to not feel like I'm getting pulled in a million directions.
Hmm.
Because I realize, when I put energy here and there and everywhere, and if it's not going to one specific thing that I care about, nothing is really going to happen the way I want to because I'm not putting the energy where it should go. Right?
That's absolutely right. And as women, we are so good at multi-skilling.
Hmm.
It's one of the things I do with my coaching clients when we're doing this work to redefine themselves. It's literally, let's focus on one niche, let's focus on one priority and get that done and really enjoy the process of it too. Um, Multi-skilling is in our DNA. We're
Yes.
really good at it. And bring it into balance is our challenge in this lifetime.
Absolutely. I'd love to talk more about redefining ourselves. I had this amazing woman who was on the show last season named Vanessa Fontana.
Mhm.
And in her early 20s, she left the corporate life, left what she thought she should have been doing, what society told her what she should be doing. And she quit her job. She moved to Bali, went to yoga teacher training, came back and really started living in her purpose. And I think that, especially in your early 20s nowadays, that is so rare. And what a gift she listened to her intuition.
Mhm.
What can someone find in your redefining courses and coaching?
It's a similar situation. And because I shifted gears in my late 20s and came to a foreign country, brought all of the tools that I'd learned at the weekends in holistic care, it is a big leap of faith. And what I learned with that was to help women, first of all, when they're redefining themselves, really get clear about their purpose. And what do we do is we create a soul-based mission purpose, if you like, we call it that, which really resonates with your soul. So when you hear it, you will never forget it. And
Hmm.
it will stay with you and help you stay on track with the choices you're going to make as we move forward. And that purpose unique brilliance statement is really your brilliance and what you're here to do and what fulfills you. So that's the number one place we start. And then, of course, redefining yourself means, as you know, getting really honest and authentic and owning your behavioral patterns.
Mm-hmm.
And I help them to really identify what those are, the negative ones that are not serving them, and then how we can break free of those with those tools we mentioned. And as we move forward, redefining, it's really like me helping my clients to see the overall picture of their life, helping them join together the why of what's happened to them, the experiences they've had, and how they can take that forward and create something really worthwhile for themselves, as well as helping other women or men. So I help them build that out. I help them carve out what that looks like. I build content with them, build program structures, write books for people. I mean, it's endless what happens during that process. So it's a lovely time of spending reflective time for 3 months together, with the end result of a very big transformation that you can then move forward into the world with, without having to second guess it, without having to try and figure it out yourself.
That's beautiful. I see you as a vessel of growth. I think you
Thank
help
you.
women come back to who they really are. And that's a huge, huge gift to this world, Nicola. I've shared my non negotiables with you. My lifestyle practices that are so very, very important to me, like my plant based eating and my meditation and my Reiki practices and exercise. What are some of your non negotiables that you practice daily?
There's a few. The first one is to really prioritize what's important to me, whether that's exercise, eating, family, community, friends, and then a project that I'm going to be working on that really excites me and I feel fulfilled by. I try, listen to that word, I do stay away from lots of silvery, shiny objects coming in, which could be very attractive to get involved with and distract me. That's a practice I've been building for many years. Meditation, tapping, walking meditation with the
Mm,
dog. I love to stay on track with my Mediterranean diet. I have to say,
mm,
I love the Mediterranean diet. And making sure I take my supplements. And then I do my preparation for going to see my clients. So that then helps me create the stamina, if you like, to go and see many different clients during the day with all of their stories, all of their problems and troubles that they need help with. So there's a lot of self prep, self care, and I do like to have quiet time at night, decharge the day with the three diamonds, which you and I talked about, and settle, just make time for myself. If I don't do that, I don't do well at work. And when I see little gaps in my schedule
mm,
appearing and people canceling or not coming in, I know that's my time from the universe to say, hey,
mhm.
you didn't quite do enough for yourself today. So we're giving you the time now.
Oh, I love that. They're all beautiful practices we can all learn and live by. What's next for you, Nicola? What can we look forward to?
Well, I'm doing a lot more writing. I have a book coming out called Finding Your Queen, Living Life on Your Own Terms, living raw, flawed, and brilliant. So I'm finishing that up. I'm moving as well into writing autobiographies
Ooh,
for my clients. I just finished an autobiography for a client of mine, helping them find the thread of their story, not just the memoir, but the reason of their life and the message and what that can offer others as they read the book. So those are my next ventures.
I'm
And of
so
course,
excited.
keep
Oh,
working with women for as long as I can because I love it.
I love it. I can't wait to read your book. If you're
Thank
okay
you.
with it, I'm going to have my book club read it, and maybe we can
Ooh,
have you come for a Q&A and discuss it when
I'd
it's
love it.
released. That would
I'd
be,
love it.
I would just absolutely love that.
Thank
Where
you.
can people find and support you?
Well, you can come and find out more about me at nicolasalter.com. And if you feel like you want to have a chat with any kind of problems or challenges you have, feel free to set up a free discovery call. I'll be really happy to hear from you and give you some new perspectives on what might be hurting, challenging, disappointing, or frustrating you.
Thank you so much, Nicola. Thank you for
Thank you.
being here. Thank you for being a guiding light to me and so many other women. And you're just an angel on earth. And I just am thankful every day that you came into my life and were such a huge part of my healing journey. I just adore you.
Well, I adore you. The feelings are mutual, and I am very excited for your next phase of your journey in health and happiness and peace, doing what you're supposed to be doing, which I can see you're really stepping into now. And I'm very, very excited and proud that you're owning your authority and expertise in this area. So thank you for stepping up.